was heading to the subway. We rarely ride the train, so we thought it would be fun to have a little date on the train. In Korea, taking the train is one of the most common ways to get around, because it's fast and convenient.
Have you ever gone on a train date with someone?
We were just waiting for the train now. Could you tell I was excited? We were finally boarding the train. I just noticed there are ads everywhere on the train. Do you know what this ads is about? Anyway, I realized I had forgotten my earphones. We finally arrived. After getting off the train, we made our way to the palace. There were crowds everywhere, both outside and inside the palace. Since it was still April, the weather was pretty pleasant. But later in the day, you'd definitely start sweating. I noticed there were far more foreign tourists than local visitors. I skipped wearing a hanbok today because I wanted to focus on our date. I'll come back later for a proper hanbok photo shoot. Anyway, let's take a moment to enjoy this live performance. Gyeongbokgung Palace was built in 1395 and served as the main royal palace during the Joseon dynasty. For more than 500 years, it was the heart of Korea's royal history, where kings ruled the country and important ceremonies took place. Although the palace was damaged and destroyed several times throughout history, much of it has been carefully restored. Today, it stands as a symbol of Korea's rich history, culture, and traditional architecture. The palace isn't just beautiful. It also has a museum where you can learn more about Korea's history. If you're interested in Korean history, don't miss the museum inside the palace. As someone who loves history, stepping into this museum made me incredibly happy. I was excited to learn more about Korea's past. The National Palace Museum is dedicated to Korea's royal history and culture. Most of the exhibitions focus on the Joseon dynasty, which ruled Korea for more than 500 years. During that time, the royal family lived inside palaces like Gyeongbokgung. Many important decisions that shaped Korean history were made within these palace walls. That's one reason why this museum feels so meaningful after visiting the palace. Instead of only seeing the buildings, you also learn about the people who lived there. As you walk through the galleries, you'll see many royal treasures that have been carefully preserved. Some of them are more than several hundred years old. It's incredible that they have survived until today. One of my favorite sections was the collection of royal crowns and ceremonial clothing. The designs were elegant and full of beautiful details. You can immediately see the craftsmanship that went into making them. There are also paintings, royal documents, books, furniture, musical instruments, and ceremonial objects. Every exhibition gives you another glimpse into life inside the royal palace. Rather than simply displaying old objects, the museum explains how each item was used. That made everything much easier to understand. The information is presented in a clear and organized way. One thing that impressed me the most was how much you can learn about the daily lives of the royal family. As I walked through each gallery, I could imagine what life was like hundreds of years ago. I learned about the kings, the queens, and the royal family who once lived in Gyeongbokgung Palace. I also learned how important ceremonies were held inside the palace. Every ceremony followed detailed traditions that had been passed down for generations. This museum doesn't only tell the story of the royal family, it also introduces the lives of nobles and ordinary people during the Joseon dynasty. One thing I really liked was that the museum shows the lives of everyone, from the royal family to nobles and ordinary citizens. It gives you a better understanding of how different people lived during the Joseon dynasty. By comparing the lives of the royal family, nobles, and ordinary people, you can see how society was organized in those days. It's fascinating to see the differences in their clothing, homes, traditions, and daily lives. Reading about history is one thing, but seeing it with your own eyes is a completely different experience. It makes everything feel more real and easier to understand. It was a journey through hundreds of years of Korean history. I'm really glad I had the chance to experience it today. Thank you for joining me on today's journey, and I'll see you in the next adventure.